The Orange Line.
No, but right now I'm really tired of all the negativity that I end up seeing on, online, talking to other Flyers fans about this team. So this is the Orange Line. I'm joined today, not by my co-host Matt Tompkins, but by Kevin Haley. He's my brother.
Yeah, from the same mother.
Yeah, that is true. I am still Dr. PhD, otherwise known as Pat Haley. And yeah, like I said, I'm getting real tired of having to talk about this part of the Flyers organization is bad, or the players aren't doing this and the team's going blah blah blah. I'm so tired of the negativity. So today I wanted to talk about some happier moments with the Flyers.
That's good. I guess they haven't given us a lot to be happy about recently.
No, of late it's been a bit of a struggle, but that's okay because we're gonna take a trip down memory lane, I guess. Think about some of the good things that we did.
And some of the bad.
Yeah, I mean,
in a fond way.
yeah, we can talk about just our favorite moments. That's what we're here to talk about today. The reasons why we love the Flyers. And the first thing I could really think of when I was thinking about this topic was for an individual player's performance. I loved Simone Gagne's run when he came back in the 2010 Stanley Cup playoffs. When he came back in the middle of the series against the Boston Bruins, that awesome reverse 4-0.
Help sweep it for us. We don't get to the finals without him coming back and pushing us past Boston.
It was incredible because he came back he had a leg injury, I believe, and he ended up averaging over a point a game, which was insane. Not even a point, a goal a game, which is absolutely insane for the playoffs, for someone that was his age at the time, and for the teams that the Flyers ended up playing.
It was quite an impressive performance. I don't think anybody expected to see him come back like that, and it was just heartwarming as a fan, and as just not even a Flyer fan, but a hockey fan, to see a guy come back and make an impact that was so spectacular.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, it was just incredible because the Flyers they reverse 4-0 the Bruins, which is not a hockey term, but I'm going to coin it anyway. They reverse 4-0 the Bruins, winning the series 4-3. They beat the Canadiens 4-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals and fell to the Blackhawks 4-2 in 6 games.
Yeah, and then having lost it on that weakest goal ever through Michael Layton. But
yeah,
the entire run to the playoffs. I remember in that series against Boston, Game 6 was a home game, and I turned down tickets that were like $25, and I should have just gone. I was like, they're going to lose. Why would I want to go? And I watched it like I should have been there. This sucks.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I can't remember if it was Game 4 or Game 5, but I was up in Boston for that week or weekend or something.
We were up there for Megan's graduation.
Yeah, Megan is our sister.
Yes.
And she went to school in Boston, but we went to, I think, an Uno's or something, and we were just in the back of the Uno's cheering our heads off as the only Flyers fans watching them win that game. It was pretty great.
Oh, it was awesome to just be surrounded like in enemy territory.
So that's always been my favorite thing, is going to different cities and still wearing like Flyers jerseys and Philly stuff, just to be like, I'll represent. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Because
Philadelphia, ride or die.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things that's happened to me was I was in Pittsburgh visiting our other sister who went to college there. Again, it just happened to be during the playoffs, and we were playing Pittsburgh. So I was wearing a shirt, and I remember I walked into a toy store because...
Who doesn't like toys?
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to find a new Rubik's Cube, but I walked into a toy store, and the guy goes, "Oh, I don't know if I should, let you in here because you're a Flyers fan." And then we're in the store for, maybe 15, 20 minutes tops, and we're getting ready to go and leave. And the guy goes, "I knew I should have kicked you out when you first came in." And I go, "Why?" And he goes, "'Cause the Flyers are up 2-1 right now." And I go, "Hell yeah."
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's always nice, and especially when you run into another fan, because then they're like, "Oh, what's up?"
It's an instant connection. You just have that bond with the other person. And speaking of Flyers Pittsburgh, one of my favorite moments is when Giroux with the shift. If you know what I'm talking about, then you can hear the shift, and you know exactly the 45 seconds of hockey I'm talking about, because
Absolutely
it was
insane.
amazing.
Yeah. When he went, that series itself was insane, because it was like 5-6 goals every single game.
It was great, and Giroux and Voracek were just firing on all cylinders, and nobody could get past
Couturier.
Cooter. Yeah,
That was also the series where he had his first career hat trick. That was against Pittsburgh in game 1?
2, I think.
2. It's one of them.
Which,
but-
his first career hat trick, but not his, is that technically his first career hat trick? Because your playoff stats don't count for against
that's
your regular
true.
season stats.
Couturier has never scored a hat trick. You heard it here first. No, but that absolutely, the shift itself and that series was pretty awesome to watch as a fan, because we get to beat up on my most hated rival. I don't know about other Philly fans, because they may have a different opinion about who their most hated rival is, but my personal most hated rival, getting to beat up on them and watching Giroux just manhandle that team going down the ice and scoring.
That was great.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. It's poetic. And that's what I like in my sports.
Beautiful poetry and Pittsburgh losing.
Yeah. All three of those things. That's why I love Gritty, by the way. The first thing that he did was responded to the Pittsburgh Penguin.
Take a shot right at Pittsburgh.
Yep. Boom. You know I love you after that. So shout outs to Gritty right now. But what would be like another top moment for you? Maybe a little bit further back, because you're my older brother, so you have been more of a fan for longer than I have.
I remember going like way back, and I don't remember the end of the game because I wasn't allowed to stay up for all of it. But the 5 overtime game, I remember trying to stay up for. And, after overtime 1, it was bedtime, and I was in elementary school, so it was I couldn't really argue. But
Right.
waking up and seeing that they won in 5 overtimes, it was a pretty awesome feeling. And it, kind of disappointing at the same time to be I really wish I could have watched all of it. But,
Yeah.
Be children being children.
Yeah, that's the way it is, but that's like something that adds to, the love of it. You miss out on a moment like that, so you're like, well, fuck, I gotta see, the next season or the next time this happens or something like that. It always adds to the intrigue. I remember probably one of the earliest memories I have is in 2007, I believe, when we went to the playoffs. We played, I want to say Montreal, and then lost to the Capitals.
Yes, we played, and that was Carey Price's one of his coming out years, and he was supposed to be the next big thing for goaltenders, and the Flyers just lit him up. He had their number all regular season, but as soon as the playoffs came across, he was firing not on all cylinders, and he just couldn't handle what the Flyers were throwing at him.
Yeah, that's one of the first real series of games that I remember watching as a kid. And just being this is awesome. The Flyers are so great. This must be what it's like to watch this team all the time.
And during that series, is one of my favorite fan signs I've ever seen was the Price is Wrong carry.
Nice. That's a classic one. See, I don't know why signs aren't a bigger thing in mainstream sports. Because you and I, we're both professional wrestling fans. And like what you've always said is the more signs there are in the crowd for wrestling, the better wrestling usually tends to be.
Absolutely.
So I think the better sports are supposed to be, like there should be more signs. That just makes sense to me.
I I'm following your logic. I get it. And you always see like the signs pre-game where the people come down and they have them pressed against the glass, and it's
Yeah.
either something funny or something like they know one of the players.
Yeah.
But then nobody else, like they don't take them with them or they don't use them up in the stands or something. It just seems like the only signs you see are it's like it's my birthday or you sign guy. Ugh.
Yeah. I know you have a really big problem with sign guy. He's got like a duffel bag of signs that he brings with him.
Yeah, a duffel bag of the same signs from like the 70s. Like it's update a couple of them. Sign guy.
He'll have ones for like players. He'll have like, oh, go Wayne Train or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, how long has he had that one? For the 7 years we've had Wayne Simmons? Like,
He's had that one for 32 years.
how many Waynes have played hockey? I'm sure there was another one some point in time.
Yeah, that's probably true. But yeah, I think like if you know you're going to be sitting on the side of the ice that has the hard cam, bring a sign. Like it doesn't matter if the person behind you can see or not. That's not the point. I, as a fan watching from home, want to see that.
Well, and you don't have to hold it up the whole game, but you know,
Oh, yeah,
there's enough
that's true.
stoppages. There's enough times where you can get a sign to be seen.
Yeah, you could at least have the classic "the guy behind me can't see" sign. That deserves to be everywhere.
Yeah, it works everywhere.
It's relevant everywhere. It's the ultimate sign. But yeah, no, I think more signs should be at Flyers games, because
More signs should be at sports.
yeah, that's true. And this is another thing from professional wrestling that I was telling. I think it was our dad, but I was telling him that I think going to wrestling is really fun, only because you get to chant things, and it'll be something like "fuck you" and then say the guy's name, or like "this guy sucks," or if something's funny that's said, they'll chant that back or whatever. And all you get at least Flyers games is "Let's go Flyers." It's always so like white meat, run of the mill. This is a boring chant. I want something fun. Like that's why I think Nashville is so much fun, because you go to the game and you as a fan, you get to have fun even if the team sucks. I mean, the team's good, but
Well, a lot of that fan interaction from Nashville comes from the people running the jumbotron and the whoever is in charge of the stadium
Right.
speakers and everything, because it's all like they start it and then the fans will pick up on everything after like whatever clip is on the jumbotron that triggers chant A.
right.
And so the Flyers need to get something more on board with fan interaction, because if they're not going to be really paying attention or having any enjoyment with the game, you need to give them something
Yeah.
to do out there.
Well, that's why I thought it was really fun. Another memory that I have is going to some of the games that the Sons of Ben were at, the Philadelphia Union fan base, because they went and they cheered the whole time, and they had their own chants and songs, and they made that experience of the game way more fun based on the fact that they're having fun, they're doing something, I'm having fun, I'm doing something.
And well, then they're doing something that's easy enough for everyone else to join into.
Absolutely. Like at the home opener that we went to, I just wanted to get the chant going of "Let's get gritty." That's funny, that's relevant, and like who doesn't want to get gritty? So I just thought it was so annoying when a fan behind me goes, "Shut up, we're saying let's go Flyers." What's with the negativity, man? I'm just trying to start a fun new chant.
Yeah.
Let's go Flyers obviously was not working that night.
Well, the Flyers need to get going before they need to be chanted for.
Which is why they got to start getting gritty.
Hey, favorite memories of the past, the Flyers and Ottawa fight. just where they set the record for penalty
Oh
minutes.
man.
And seeing the game this season against Ottawa, where they came out and they were just rumbling for most of the game, I just thought, if they're not going to be playing well, or they're not going to be scoring, or they're going to be letting in these points, they should at least be doing this.
Be the bullies again.
Well, I don't want to say all the way. Don't go full bully.
No, go full bully. I'm 100% in the vein. Go full bully. Start beating the shit out of some people.
I mean, like a fun schoolyard bully. Not
No. Like a fun, angry, like high school bully.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not that kind of like.
Shove some nerds into their locker and let them know who's boss.
Well, you know what? I guess I gotta agree with that.
Boom! So that's what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna start the petition today to officially get gritty with the Flyers, bring back the Broad Street Bullies. That's something I wish I grew up watching.
That would have been great. Just to see, at least, I mean, I've seen videos of it, but the game against Russia, to watch that live, I think would have been one of the most exciting things for a Flyers fan.
I know if I was in the stands, I would be losing my mind seeing the Russians walk out of the stadium. That would be so funny to me.
Oh, it would have been great, because they're supposedly the best team in the world, and we made them quit.
Absolutely. Like, we're too tough. Get at us.
Yeah. The neutral zone trap's not going to work, Rusky.
Well, not just like the Russian game, but also we also would have seen the Stanley Cups. The thing that for some reason every other NHL fan base loves to hold against us is, yeah, you won back-to-back Stanley Cups 30 years ago. And it's like, okay, but we did do that. That's still pretty cool.
That's true, but does it really count for when, like, if a Maple Leafs fan is going to hold over how many Stanley Cups they have? Like, yeah, you played when there were 16. How many times did you win when all of the teams made the playoffs? And,
right,
like, it was one game away or one series away from the Stanley Cup every year.
That's why I appreciate that Montreal fans aren't like the Yankees fans of hockey, where they're like, hey, we have got, 13 Stanley Cups or whatever the number is. Like, I never hear Montreal fans say anything remotely negative.
Well, they're Canadian.
That's true. But, I mean, Ottawa, we fought them.
Yeah, but, I mean, as far as Canada goes, you have, like 7 choices of cities to live in, and you're in Ottawa.
Yeah, that's true. And then after that, I believe it's all Eskimos.
Mostly.
Yeah, there's 7 cities and then just Eskimos everywhere.
And bears, but...
And some bears. There are some bears.
Not like a lot of bears.
Only a few.
Yes.
Okay, see? I'm right. Thank goodness. But yeah, I think that would have been one of the coolest times to be a Flyers fan. And I work with a lady who... I don't know how old she is, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but she's old. And she was telling me about how great it was to be a fan at that time and how nice it was. And the thing I've been saying all season is, do you think the Flyers kind of blew their load with Bernie Parent getting, one of the greatest goaltenders of all time right away? And, now we're kind of cursed with goaltenders. And
I wouldn't say that they blew their load. I might say we're cursed because we don't have good luck.
Well, that's the thing is, like, we got Bernie Parent right away, and then the next heir to that was Pele Lindbergh, and he was supposed to be, like, really good. I've never seen him play, but...
If only Uber existed in the 90s, none of that would have ever happened.
R.I.P. to our boy. But, we...
Big shout out to Uber, too.
Yeah, shout out to Uber. Drive safe, ladies and gentlemen. But also, like, after that, then we had, like, nobodies, and then Ron Hextall. And Ron Hextall was good in a different way.
Well, he was a good goalie, but they had a really good defense in front of him. And it was in an era when it was not about goaltending.
Yeah.
Goaltending now is much more important than it has been almost ever before.
That's true, because now they're at a point when they hyper, down to the inch of how tall your pads can be, and how big your glove can be and things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they needed to regulate it when you're out there with leg pads that are coming up to your nipples. It's, hey, guy, come on now.
What's the problem with that?
Because you can just, block out the whole bottom part of the goal. I think they should just make butterfly goalies illegal. Go back to all stand-up goalies.
That would be really interesting to see with, like, the Connor McDavids and Sidney Crosbys in the world today.
I know, it would be great. And
games would be 10,000 to 2,000.
Well, and because I think goalies in general are more athletic, I think they would be more, they wouldn't be as awful. They're still athletic enough to make a save.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But when you got Dangles like they got Dangles,
just go out there and check them, Ron Hextall style.
We should go back to that era. But see, that was the thing that always, got me really excited about Ron Hextall coming back. It was like, I loved him as a player. He was awesome.
I loved him as a GM in L.A. Well, assistant GM.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I liked him when he first started being the GM.
I still don't hate him. I think you need to give him some time still, but he needs to
do things.
Yeah, need to make some stuff happen.
Yeah.
Not having Snyder is really hurting this team.
Yeah, we lost our heart and soul. But like I said, we're not gonna be negative today. Stop putting me on the feels train. But I do know there's one story that I keep hearing about Ron Hextall, which is during the Senators fight. Or not the Senators, who was it? It was before the game. They were doing the thing where they're just, shooting the puck, whatever, and the last guy on the ice was going to shoot it at the Flyers net. But the Flyers were like, okay, well, we're just going to shoot it at your net. And then they kind of started, like, mouthing off to each other. There was a big brawl right before the game. And Ron Hextall was, the story goes that he was in the, equipment room with the trainers, like, getting everything ready for the game. And his trainer locked him in the equipment room and said, "You can't go out there, Ron. We need you tonight." So he wasn't even part of the fight, but everyone else got cleared out of the locker room to go start this fight before the game even started.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. That's awesome.
Which is my favorite Ron Hextall moment.
That's
him
awesome.
And him absolutely destroying Chris Chelios.
I was going to say just chasing Chelios into the corner.
Awesome.
Which the two of them are cool. Like
Are they?
I heard an interview with Hextall and somebody asked him about it and he goes, it was in game. He's one of the best ever and we have this respect for each other. But man, I did not like playing against him.
You know what? That's great to hear. Leave it out on the ice.
I think that's most hockey players in general have if Giroux hates Crosby, when their careers are done, I think they'll be friendly for the most part with each other.
I think they'll be friendly because Crosby will be like, yeah, I mean, I was probably the golden child of the NHL, but you were keeping pace with me and no one was paying attention to it. So, Crosby seems like the kind of guy who would give props to the people who deserve it.
Yeah, he seems like a prick too, but...
Oh, well, yeah, that's besides the point. It's all in that face. He's got that little mousy face.
He does have a hateable face.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he came into the league and just all the shit that he started with the diving and the acting, right when you come in, it's come on, it earned some of it at least. You're still a rookie.
Yeah. It was a little rough, and now it's kind of annoying to see Connor McDavid in that spot as this is the guy that the NHL thinks is, the end-all be-all. It's okay, I know he's great, but, you can calm down about it.
Yeah, well, watch another highlight video featuring him, because that's what the NHL puts out.
That's all it is anymore. It's him and Austin Matthews, and then they'll be like, there's some other goal. But every time they have something for Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid, it's always isn't this the greatest goal that you've ever seen? When you've got dangles like Conor McGregor, McDavid, whatever, you know, you don't even need a team around you. And it's like, yeah, I mean, so when's that Stanley Cup gonna happen?
Yeah. But the worst part is when you watch it, you're like, God damn it, that was fucking dirty.
Well, yeah, but we don't talk about that.
Well, shut up then.
Yeah, but see, that's one thing that, again, I can be very happy and thankful of for the Flyers is that I still know, even with the team we have right now, we probably still have more of a chance of winning a cup than Edmonton, even with Connor McDavid.
Yeah, well, I don't. We'll see how much longer McDavid's going to stay in Edmonton. Once his contract is up.
Yeah, that's got to be rough for Edmonton to be like, hey, we drafted the best in the world. Wait, where'd you go?
Yeah. Plus, you got to live in Edmonton.
Ooh, yeah, that's a little rough too.
To quote my boy Brizgalov, why you have to be mad? He said, it's minus 32, Edmonton.
Oh, Brizgalov, he's still signed with us, right?
Well, I'm not signed, just being paid.
Being paid. Well, no, because we signed him to like a entry level contract or something like that last season when we had like no goalies going into the playoffs.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't remember that either. Huh.
Yeah, and then he showed up to a few of the games, like not in uniform. He was just at the stadium.
Yeah, like he paid for tickets and
yeah.
went. Well, he lives in the area still. Like,
does he?
Yeah, he coaches his kids like teams around here.
What a guy! That's awesome.
I think that's a testament to Philadelphia in general. You can pay a person to not play for us anymore, and he's like, yeah, but this place is awesome, so I'll stay around.
See, that's what I don't get. Everyone always wants to talk shit about Philadelphia as a whole. We're obviously doing something great for the people that actually play for us, and we crucify them.
Yeah, we are not nice.
Yeah, like, we know we're not nice to you guys, but who gives a fuck about what the other teams think? But, like, we're not nice to our own players, and they're like, this is the greatest city I've ever played in. I love this city. I love the fans. We're doing something right. I think they know that we just hold them to a higher standard.
We don't let anything go.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because you're Claude Giroux and you scored the second most points in the NHL and got snubbed for the MVP award.
Still salty.
We're still going to be like, hey, maybe you shoot the puck a little bit more. Because you're a lot better than that than, a lot of other players on this team.
Yeah, it's something that across all sports, players have said that they love playing here, and that if when they're recruiting people to play in Philadelphia, they say you're gonna love it here. The fans are great, but playing against us nobody really likes doing that.
Yeah,
a lot of teams, I think, when they're on the road trips, will play a game away, like play in Philadelphia, and then they'll stay the night after the game and travel in the morning. Where a lot of teams, in other cities they do that. In Philadelphia, a lot of teams come. They play the game, then they leave the city and get to wherever they're going that night.
That's awesome. I remember watching a TSN top 10 video of top 10 places that players hated playing in terms of playing for the away team at someone else's stadium. And on the list, both the Spectrum and the Wachovia Center were on there.
Oh yeah, it's the top 10 toughest stadiums to play in, and the only Montreal with the old Forum and now the Bell Center was the only other city to have two. Yeah. So that's some rarefied company.
But a lot of people were like, they're just in the Spectrum, they were right on top of you, so it was a huge presence that they brought whenever you were in that stadium, and then with the center, they were just those fans. They just they kind of get in your head a little bit because they're loud, they're mean, and they'll let you know it.
Yeah,
which is something that I love about us as fans. Is we're good enough as not players to still get in the players' heads. Oh. We're mean, we're tough, and we know it.
That's true, and it's a shame that when they're not playing well, that kind of ultimate home ice advantage gets lost to the wayside.
Yeah, but once again, We're going to talk about the positives today, and that is what we did. We talked about a few of our favorite moments, talked about why it's so great to be a Philadelphia Flyers fan, a Philadelphia fan in general, and I mean, there's not really much else I can ask for besides maybe a better future for this team. If the guys start playing a little bit better, if they start digging down deep, hopefully they can make a pretty good push for the playoffs, into the playoffs, and wherever we end up getting. I'm just hoping for the good, because I'm tired of the negative. I'm so tired of hearing people talk shit about this team. But for now, I've been Dr. PhD. This has been
Kevin Haley.
Kevin Haley.
I need a name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
We'll come up with something.
At some point, everyone's going to think of one. But this has been the Orange Line. Thank you for listening to us. If you want to argue with me on Twitter or tell me something about the Flyers, hit me up at DrPhD, DocterPhD. Do you want to plug anything?
I will throw my Twitter out there at HaleyCricket17.
All right, Haley Cricket 17, Dr. PhD. This has been the Orange Line, and I will see you later.